almost 90 seconds since our show began, and in that short amount of time, 2 people somewhere in the United States suffered a stroke. It happens once every 40 seconds. Raising awareness is why the American Heart Association has declared this World Stroke Day. Dr. B.J. Hicks is a vascular neurologist with Ohio Health and a board member with the Heart Association. Dr. Hicks, thank you for being with us.
Thank you, Crystal. Glad to be here.
Now, this time last year, we said stroke was the number 4 cause of death in this country. This year, it's the number 5 cause of death. Seems like some strides are being made. Is that correct?
We in the stroke community have gotten a lot better in getting the word out, shows like this and other ways with the American Heart Association, letting patients know that stroke is preventable and it is treatable. So we're getting patients to the hospital quicker, and we also have exciting new therapies that we can offer patients that are having the most severe kind of ischemic or non-bleeding strokes.
How many people are affected by stroke in the U.S., and how does that compare with the rest of the world?
Every year, almost 800,000 people in this country suffer a stroke. That is not as high as other parts of the world, but it is still a significant number, and it is something that we are not seeing go away, unfortunately.
How about men versus women? Does it affect us the same?
A lot of people would unconsciously believe that men healthy. However, the reverse is true. Females have strokes more often. That's often because females live longer, and as you age, you have stroke more often. But it's very important for females to know the signs and symptoms.
All right, speaking of signs and symptoms, let's talk about those warning signs. What do we look for? How do we know if it's happening?
Well, at the American Heart Association and the American Stroke Association, along with other groups, we've developed an acronym that we talk about often, and it's easy. It's called FAST. The F is for face, if there's a sudden change in your face with facial droop. A is for arm, if your arm starts to drift and is not as strong as the other arm. The same would go for your leg in that instance. S is for speech, where if your speech suddenly becomes slurred, or is it difficult to understand, or if you can't quite get the words out. And most importantly, T is time. Time to call 911. It's not time to rest on it or sleep on it or call your friend. You call 911 and get to the emergency room as soon as possible, because we have treatments available.
You guys have an online quiz to help learn more about the warning signs, and we have linked that to our web and Facebook pages. So folks can go there to learn more about that. Now, are there things that raise a person's risk for suffering a stroke?
Absolutely. Things like smoking, that's a very big preventable cause of stroke. High blood pressure is an extremely high cause of stroke. In fact, if we have patients at the 120/80 range for blood pressure, we would lower stroke risk by 50%. So that's nothing to shake a stick at, so to speak. High blood sugar, if you're a diabetic, that definitely increases your risk. Obesity and what we call sedentary lifestyle, not being active. Active doesn't mean you have to run marathons or do, aggressive sort of cross training. It could just be brisk walking for, 30, 40 minutes for the majority of the week. Also diet. We have to cut down on our sodium intake, which is a big problem in this country with processed foods. So things like the Mediterranean diet have been shown to be important to lower someone's risk of stroke.
You mentioned sodium. Also, fat and sugar are problems as well, yeah?
No question.
All right, despite all of this, stroke is at the top of the list as far as preventability goes. So you talked about the risk factors. Can you tell us the things we can do to lower our chances?
The biggest thing is to monitor your blood pressure. The nickname for high blood pressure in medical circles is the silent killer. And that's because it doesn't hurt. You don't always have to feel it. And usually when you feel it, it's too late because of something as terrible as a stroke. So having your blood pressure tightly controlled, we now have new studies that have shown that really having your blood pressure in that 120/80 range, regardless of your age, is extremely important. And again, I can't speak enough about tobacco. These are the two things that can really be modified along with diet and exercise and lifestyle changes that could really help lower your risk.
Go right ahead.
Other things like if you have a heart rhythm abnormality like atrial fibrillation or AFib, these things need to be appropriately controlled with a blood thinner. That's another big cause of devastating strokes.
All right, Dr. Hicks, always great advice. And the Heart Association and Stroke Association have loads of great information online. You can find the link on our website and our Facebook page. Thank you again, Dr. Hicks.
My pleasure.